Savings goals keeping you up at night? Let a Regions banker help you build a Regions Greenprint plan, a free financial roadmap personalized for what matters to you. Start building your financial confidence. Visit Regions.com to find a branch near you. Regions Bank, member FDIC.
Broadcasting from the Subaru of Gwinnett studio inside the Gas South Convention Center in Duluth, Georgia, it's time for Gwinnett Business Radio. Gwinnett Business Radio is presented by Regions Bank. Start building your financial confidence at Regions Bank. Member FDIC, an equal housing member.
Dan is always the safe bet. Dan is always a safe bet. Greetings and salutations, everybody. It's your slightly annoying co-host, Stephen Julian. Welcome to, hopefully, another award-winning edition of Gwinnett Business Radio, broadcasting live from inside the Subaru of Gwinnett studios inside the beautiful Gas South District Convention Center. We have a fantastic guest with us today, an Olympic athlete who is now head of Taste of Gold Bakery. DeeDee Trotter is here, and we're going to bring her on the air in just a second after I welcome my wonderful co-host who also lost the bet, Harper LaBelle.
Yeah, there's only 3 chances.
Yes.
You picked A, I picked B, and the answer was C.
It was C. It was Dan. So for those of you that don't know, Harper and I have off the air always kind of tried to guess whose voice is going to bring us in. We have 3 voices. We may be adding more. I believe this is a $1 million opportunity to bring on sponsorship dollars of one of the betting apps to turn this into a prop bet of our loyal listeners.
Yeah, don't sell yourself. Stephen, you can't sell yourself short because it's millions. There's
millions
of people that...
Let's insert our pinky.
We talked about this today. Like in the Super Bowl, what color Gatorade
or Powerade
is going to get spilled?
Yeah.
Well, it's Gatorade, and you wanted Powerade. But if you put Powerade in a Gatorade jug, the bet's
it
off.
opens a hole in the space-time continuum.
But someone knows what color the Gatorade is before it gets spilled, right?
Yes.
Then I want to know that guy so I can place the bet.
So that type of bet of what voice will bring us in every episode. And 2 episodes ago, it was a different voice in studio then on the podcast. But anyway.
Would you also want to bet who's going to win the 400 meters in the Rome, Athens, London?
Absolutely.
Asian Games?
It's going to be.
We have someone who might know a little bit about that.
It's going to be DeeDee Trotter. She is the executive pastry chef and owner of Taste of Gold Bakery, and also did some other things in her past. DeeDee, welcome to the studio.
Hey, how y'all doing?
Doing great. So before we talk about some of the other athletic achievements in the Olympic past you've had, tell everybody about what you're doing now at Taste of Gold Bakery.
So Taste of Gold Bakery is my new gold medal efforts in life. I started working on this bakery to pretty much live a childhood dream. I used to love Easy Bake Oven. I know that sounds kind of rude.
That's awesome.
You had a light bulb.
I did.
Yes.
Cake with
the
a light bulb
went out.
was.
We're not eating.
No, it was very chewy cake as well.
Yeah.
But I had a dream to do this way before my Olympic years, and when I retired, I said I'm going for it. So I started Taste of Gold and put my Olympic past into my current life and future.
A taste of gold.
Taste of gold. You get it? Bite the metal.
Yeah.
And so now we're making beautiful celebration cakes, weddings, birthdays, anniversaries, any type of thing you want to celebrate. We are helping bring your event to life and bringing your vision into food that not only looks good, but tastes good, because greatness does have a taste, and that is our motto.
It does.
I like that.
When you were done running and you were a professional for 13 years, is that correct?
Yes.
An Olympian, everything. How long after you were finished with that portion of your life did it take for you to say, I'm ready to go next step? Did you already have everything in place, or was it, now what do I do?
I was kind of gearing up for this. I'm a bit of a planner when it comes to getting to my goals. I feel like you have to have a target to know where you're going to be aiming. So I set a goal about 2 years before I retired. I felt my body shutting down. I'm not gonna lie. My joints were like, "Girl, you done." And so I started.
Done at that level. You still run, but you're not going to run a 49.
No 49s.
Right.
Yes, exactly. So the 49s were getting behind me, and I was like, okay, I got to start planning for the future. And I graduated from University of Tennessee, so I had my college degree. I was ready to kind of take on life in any direction I needed to. And I said, hey, this is my passion. Let's go back to it. So I actually started baking and practicing some of my recipes while I was training at USC in my last 2 years before I retired. And the USC athletes were some of my tasters.
Yeah.
Coach didn't like this. She
Right.
was not a fan of me bringing treats to practice every day, but she would indulge too. She was one of my tasters as well.
But not for the
even-
kids.
yeah,
Don't
listen,
give the athletes any. But
Even top level athletes can have a bite.
Oh yeah,
or
you
two
can
now
have
and
you have to indulge
Moderation,
a little bit.
right?
Moderation
Yes,
is
yes,
the key.
yes.
Bill Cosby
Yes.
had a skit on cake. There's eggs.
Yeah.
There's wheat.
Yes.
Yeah.
There's
milk.
There's milk
Absolutely.
in cake.
That is
There
great.
are
Good.
all
Make us chocolate.
And then his
carrot
wife's
cake.
Yes.
There's
I get
Come
my
on now.
vegetable servings.
Come on with the carrot
I like
cake.
it. I like it.
Apple cake.
Yeah, yeah.
apple
Apple
Just
something.
saying,
Yeah,
there's
yeah.
lots
Yeah,
of
yeah.
options for us.
rhubarb pie.
Yeah.
There's I don't know what rhubarb does for you, but it
don't
tastes pretty
eat
good.
Makes you run
But-
faster.
So yeah.
But that was,
I started planning.
That was your direction, though.
Yes.
With sweets.
Yeah, and then I always pastries. I've always made the cakes for my friends' weddings and their little showers and things like baby showers. I was always doing that on the
You
side.
served a double purpose,
I
didn't
did.
you? You were
I've
also a
always done
friend
that.
of the bride, but you fed her.
Yes, I
Oh,
did,
goodness.
and her party.
Yeah.
Those were not my best cakes. I actually want to post some of those in the future to show the progress.
Here's how not to do it?
So yeah.
Well, some
So-
of the cakes that you have online, and by the way, give the website.
tasteofgoldbakery.com.
When you go there, there's some
Holy cow.
40, 50 pick. I said to Stephen before you arrived, all they need is diamonds. Just put some
I know.
Right.
glam on them.
Right.
I'm waiting
They're
for
gorgeous.
someone to ask for that.
They're gorgeous. Well,
Thank you.
that
Don't
would be
eat 'em.
hard to digest.
Yeah, yeah.
You might have a molar issue
I'm
with
sure
that.
I can
but-
make them edible.
Well, and actually, some of them look so nice. Adding diamonds might actually diminish the quality of how nice the cake looks already. See how I'm.
And it would change the
That
taste.
was
And taste
very
is
you
intuitive.
like that
very important.
flattery?
Yes, it was.
It'll get me nowhere. But
But
my-
seriously, so they, I know in some cultures, I speak of the Japanese culture. It's
Yeah.
the presentation.
Oh,
Is
absolutely.
just as important as the taste of the food. I would
Absolutely.
imagine you've, especially being around the world as you
Yes.
have, there are little bits and pieces from other parts of the world
Absolutely.
that you're able to incorporate into what you do.
Absolutely. I lived in Japan prior to actually starting this journey full time. So I didn't go immediately when I retired into the bakery. I thought I was, but then I got this amazing job offer to speak internationally around the world, and I took it. I moved to Switzerland for about 1.5 years, and then that moved me to Japan a little bit back and forth. And I
Can
was
you yodel now?
no, I cannot. My Swiss German is absolutely
It's brutal.
terrible.
it is not Achtung.
It's horrible. I should have better language than I did. But yeah, I moved around a little bit, traveled the world. I got to share this dream about what I wanted to do with over, I don't know, probably over 500,000 people somewhere between the 1.5 years I was speaking. And I was telling everybody, I said, I'm going to be a professional baker. And they were like, that's crazy. Like, you're here.
You just run.
Yeah, you just run. And you just keep running your little
You're
socks
very
up.
fast.
And I said, oh no, I've run circles. I'm done running those circles. I'm going to do something else. I'm going to whisk it in the kitchen.
Yeah.
And I told people that. And so it actually put some pressure on me to get it done.
We're speaking with DeeDee Trotter. She is the executive pastry chef and owner of Taste of Gold Bakery. DeeDee, I feel like I have to. I'm sorry. I've got to ask two really basic business questions
Okay, yeah.
that I want to make sure and cover, and then we can go back to having fun. 'Cause Harper's asking all the fun questions. I feel like I got to ask the goofy questions. So first of all, just for those who are going to want to have a taste of gold, you do cakes.
Yes.
What other products besides cakes are available right now that if they went to tasteofgoldbakery.com they could get?
So I specialize in 3 things. We specialize in celebration cakes. So that's your birthdays, your weddings, your birthdays, your anniversaries, all of graduations. But also wedding cakes have their own category, although that is a celebration. So they have their own category. And we do dessert tables.
Okay.
These are your beautiful, elegant tables that are created towards your theme, and they can consist of almost any dessert that you really want. So if you want strawberry cheesecakes, if you want chocolate dip brownies, if you want mini cakes, we do it all. Peach cobbler, banana pudding. You tell us what you want, and we will make it for you in bite sizes.
So, nice. So personally, obviously, celebration cakes, wedding cakes, and then on the corporate side, if I'm a business owner, maybe a particular cake to celebrate something, but also I'm doing an event and I want to do something very unique, very different, create one of these dessert tables, bring your expertise to that. Now, my second boring question that I need to ask is you are a track and field Olympic athlete, and I loved in your first answer, you kind of talked about the discipline and the training, and clearly that relates to building your business. So I'm going to ask you, as someone who competed at the top level of anybody in the world at your sport, obviously there's some things that translated from that to business, but what surprised you when you transferred from top Olympic athlete to business that maybe you weren't expecting? Because as an Olympic athlete, you're like, man, I've trained at the top level at this. I'm just going to do that over here.
Yeah.
But there had to be some adjustments. There had to be some things that kind of came around the corner. You're like, ooh, I wasn't ready for that.
Yeah, as a professional track and field athlete, there's a lot of individual time. It's very self-focused. It's very self-driven. And my team consists of a handful of people who I work with all the time. But ultimately, I run that ship. I drive that boat. And when it came to working in even the speaker industry, because I was under a corporate umbrella, and then even working as an executive pastry chef, because I'm also an executive pastry chef at one of the top golf clubs here in Atlanta. So I really the hardest transition was, creating that environment where there's leadership required. I was Team USA team captain closer to the end of my years, so I had some leadership with team element. But now managing a team of 3 and managing my own bakery, I think the biggest challenge is, just being very, it's a lot of micro responsibilities. Tons of little things that have to get done, and you're also managing others. So I think that's where, I found it to be the most it's crazy.
I would think one of this was, and I'm allowed once every show to ask a question that the guest can literally go, that's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. I'm allowed to do it once a show. I've got a nice
his quota every week.
No, I've got a good streak going where I haven't been told that. Now you tell me that every day, every time we get off the air. Yeah. So in what you did, as a runner, all the work you do shows up on your time.
Yeah,
and it's indisputable. Everybody else was behind me, so I did great.
No doubt, the clock doesn't lie.
And I think as you're becoming a pastry chef and as you're moving into making cakes, the one thing that's one of the things that's different, I would imagine, is you're like, I know this is great, but people's tastes are different.
Yeah,
you can't go, this is the best cake ever. You need that person to say the best.
Exactly.
So, I would imagine you had graduated from the University of Tennessee, but one of the things you did was you also did an additional level of education. Talk about that.
I went to the Art Institute of Atlanta, where I graduated top of my class with a perfect 4.0 GPA, and I was valedictorian, top culinary student. I'm very proud of that accomplishment because I realized that there was a lot in me that I wasn't really giving when I was at in my 4-year college. I was, I guess you can say, not working in my passion. So as soon as I stepped in my passion, I walked into the building and I was like, I'm going to get on that list and I'm going to be on the top. And, I attack everything just like I'm going for the gold medal. So I'm like, I'm going to win this, I'm going to win that. And so, my years at Art Institute of Atlanta, they were very quick. And I also was very slow, ironically. They were like, how can you be so fast on the track and be one of the slowest workers? I have OCD. They call me OCD. I am very.
She's got her own nickname.
I like that.
I love that nickname though. I was very meticulous, and being that OCD made me slower. And they were like, you gotta hurry, you gotta work on your speed, That was my number one criticism at Art Institute, was you got to work on your speed. This industry, you got to move fast. You got to get this stuff out there. I'm like, okay, I'm always on. I always finish it by the end of the clock. They're like, you're playing it too close. So I'm like, dang, I got to pick up my speed. And so that's one of the biggest things I had to work on, which is kind of silly when speed was my thing, that was my thing.
You're just finding balance in life, after coming from a place where it's always about speed, you're like, I can, as long as I beat
slow
the clock.
this down.
Yeah, I like that.
It sounds to me like you're a hands-on person. I've got to touch it. I've got to taste it and feel it. And then when I learn it, I'll speed up later, but right now I'm learning
Bingo. You nailed it. That was me.
Okay.
Once I get it, I'm gone. Like now, what used to take me, 8 hours to do, I do in 3.
Yeah.
And it's sometimes time is required when you're trying to make something perfectly beautiful. So
If you'll allow, you mentioned something a little bit earlier in the business, and we'll go back back in time. 29 Palms, you're a California girl growing up. But before we do that, real quick, Stephen had asked you a question. Corporate events.
Yes.
Tell me a little bit more about how you have to customize.
Yes.
I'm there. Part of what you would do, I imagine, I can put it in blue or purple or pink or whatever.
Absolutely.
And your ability to work with a customer or a client or potential client. Talk a little bit about the relationship that you develop.
Absolutely. So what I want to do is I want to bring their vision to life. So if they have colors or even a logo, something they want their guests to receive as part of the experience, like we want them to walk away with a gold baggie that has our company logo on it, or a cookie that has the brand. We want them to be able to leave with something tangible that still reminds them of the event. So I like to sit down. We talk about the colors, their flavors, but it's really important for me that they not only just get something pretty, but it also tastes good. So your table just won't have food. It'll also have like decor that goes with the style of your theme. So if your theme was gold and white, we'll have gold and white flowers, gold and white vases. We'll design this table to fit seamlessly with the event's interior decor. So think as big as you want to think on that, and we make it match.
Well, it sounds to me like you have the ability to do both A and B. A is the client comes to you, I need to have 50 desserts for so-and-so, and this is my theme, as well as your ability to go, I don't know what we should do. Can you think of something, DeeDee? Can you help us with what we have? And you have
create.
My kids, when my daughter got married, they had Oreo cookies with
cute.
pictures of the bride and groom on it.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, I wouldn't want to eat that. But it's an Oreo, so I can't not eat it.
Yeah.
But technology has allowed for different things to take place. How do you get to take advantage of that?
Oh man, I love my edible food printer. It's quite the
Whoa.
customization.
Edible food printer.
Yes.
That's a phrase.
EFP. That's an EFP.
Yeah, I've never heard. Okay, for those
OCDD and an EFP.
For those of us in the audience who love food, and in my case, clearly show that I love food, but I'm working on it. Edible food printer. You have to give me a 30-second pitch of what this amazing technology is.
It is like your home printer, but the ink is
food.
It's completely edible, and then the paper is edible. So you can print pictures and logos.
She's known about this for a long time.
So Michael Scott's pancake in the shape in a sheet of paper. We've come a long way.
Yes.
You're now and you're saying it's as thin. It can be as thin as
it is wafer paper.
Wafer thin.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Oh my goodness gracious.
Wafer paper.
It's wafer paper.
I think I'm in
I
love.
I don't know. Yeah.
Okay, and I
Sign me
totally
up.
ruined that question you were talking about. So go back, but that I had to get that. I had to jump in. I apologize.
Completely yummy.
Yeah, that's awesome. So something like that, and then so that's to Harper. Your question was, and I do want to get back to that. So you can be so creative with a business event.
You can be very custom. You can customize it to their exact logo.
Is there a machine that you've thought of that doesn't exist yet that you and Steven and I
Star Trek replicator.
I'm actually thinking of something, and I don't want to put it out here.
Okay.
People
Come on, you're not going to give us the
snatch it
scoop?
I mean, but it's
Will you
I
come
think
back
it's
on our-
needed. I really do.
Will you come back on our show when it's gone from idea in your head to?
Absolutely.
And it's not just like a whisk or a
No,
spatula.
it's not.
Stuff that people need.
I'm starting to get real innovative as I get down, working in the trenches of my career now. I'm like, I need this, and we don't have it. So I think the wheels are spinning.
Well, speaking of trenches, let's go back a little bit to your trenches. We mentioned 29 Palms.
Yeah.
There's a Marine base in 29
That's all
Palms.
that's
and
out
then
there.
there's a bunch of sand and a lot of heat, right?
Yeah.
You were born and raised there.
I was born there. My dad was a Marine.
Okay.
And I was born on the base. And my mom and dad are both from Phoenix. So I was only born in 29 Palms, California.
Okay. Then you moved to Phoenix.
Back to Phoenix, yeah.
How long did you live there?
Until I was about 10. My mom and dad got divorced. And then me and my mom and my older brother, we moved here to Atlanta.
Decatur.
Yep. We moved to Doraville, actually. And then later on Decatur, about when I was about 15.
Was it tough to leave at 10, all your friends behind, or was that
man.
probably the best time?
No, that
to
was
do
the
it?
best time. At that point, I was beating everybody on the playground. I mean, they couldn't keep up with me. I needed to get a little. I was blowing those kids away on
But
the
you weren't
playground.
running track at 10 years old.
No, but I knew I was fast when I was about 7 or 8.
Okay.
My grandpa, he had it in his blood that he knew I was going to be something special on the running. He didn't know what it was at the time, but he had me race all my cousins from the stop sign to the mailbox. If they couldn't beat me, he just found that to be so amusing. He was like, "Go run again, DeeDee. Beat him again, DeeDee." I say, "Okay, Papa." And I go.
It's always a grandparent who
Yeah.
imparts that
Yeah.
passion and vision.
From reading about you, it was in your high school basketball days
Yes.
that one of your coaches, was that right?
Yes, all of
"Hey,
them.
You better. After we're done, we're going out on the track.
Yeah.
For the spring or the fall.
Absolutely. I mean, I couldn't hear that enough, honestly. Playing basketball, I was like a lightning bolt on the court. And every time I finished a game, "You should run track. You should run track." I was like, "Oh, no, it's too hot outside." I'm going to be honest with y'all. I cannot. I got away from Phoenix. My skin is not built for this. I just could not. I was like, I'm an indoor sports girl, and I loved basketball.
Even
so.
though most gyms are hotter than a firecracker
Air
on the 4th of July in the
conditioning.
summertime.
Air conditioning.
Well, that's why you play basketball in the winter.
Well, I'm just saying, summer games in California.
Oh, yeah. Come to summer camp.
I'd rather not be inside
Right.
because it's so hot. But they saw the talent.
They saw that, yeah. And I said, I'm not ready to run yet. I will run in high school. So that's when I committed to actually getting into the sport of track and field on purpose. Otherwise, I think we were just doing field days and, I think, your middle schools, this and that. But high school, I said, that's when I'll go for
What
it.
did you start running? What events did you start?
100 and the 200. I actually never ran the 400 until I got to college.
Really?
I was the Georgia State champion in the 200. I was the indoor 200-meter record holder here in Georgia. And I think I might still have that record because I think they stopped that meet. Yes.
Nice.
And
It'll never be broken.
Retired
I'm
with the
pretty
belt.
sure unless they open that back up, I'm good. I was a long jumper. So I did the 1, the 2, and the long jump. I was recruited for those 3 events. I actually never ran the 4.
Recruited to Tennessee?
To almost every major university.
But Tennessee track.
Yes, exactly.
That goes back in
Yeah.
history a long way. For you to
does.
join the Lady Vols,
Yeah,
that was something special.
it was.
What was that recruiting process? Tell me a little bit about, hey, they want me and I think I can do this.
I have the craziest recruiting story, but I'm going to keep it short. I received letters from so many universities for track and field and basketball. I was actually a top player. I was tip-off club. I was recruited to all the international teams. I was a very good basketball player. I received letters for both track and basketball from Tennessee. I did nothing with them. No one in my family had ever gone to that level of sport before. So when the letters were coming, we were just like sitting there. No one was guiding us. No one was helping us with the process. So basically I had shoebox, one for track, one for basketball, and they just kept handing them to
you
me at
had
school.
Pat Summit recruiting you.
I did.
And you didn't know how to respond to her.
I did not.
Wow.
It was just, it's one of the most embarrassing yet eye-opening stories of my life because a lot of athletes in similar scenarios don't know what to do. My whole upbringing, and now it's getting better. Obviously, social media gives so much information, and you're not lost to the world.
But
at
you
that
didn't know
time,
who to ask or how to ask, right?
They were just handing me. I go to school. They say, "Here's some more letters." Thank you. No one was guiding me. I say, "Mom, I got another one," and I'm like, "Tennessee, they're coming to my house." See, my vision was like Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. They're gonna show up to my high school game and they're gonna be like, "We want you," and I'm be like, "Come to my house, coach." Like, like that is what I thought, and no one was around to tell me different. So I was just sitting there with all these opportunities in shoe boxes, and nothing happened. So I go to that indoor meet where I broke the record. And my coach, we just finished playing basketball. My team got put out. We were in the top 4. We had an undefeated season, and it was just tragic because we just had the worst game ever. And we got put out. We finished 4th.
You always remember the loss.
Oh,
don't you?
my God. It was one of the worst games ever.
Can you remember any of the wins?
No,
you
yes,
always remember
one.
the
I
loss.
hit a half-court shot.
Oh, did you?
nice.
Yeah.
To
for
win the game?
For the win. Yeah.
Oh, that's
that
awesome.
That one I'll
Buzzer
never
beater?
forget. Yes. It was amazing. So that one I remember that loss, man, I said, what the worst game of the year. And we got 4th, so that put us out the tournament early, right? I get a call from my track coach. He's like, "Hey, we want you to go down and run at the Georgia Dome." And I was like, I just finished playing basketball. I'm not ready to run. He's like, it's Friday. You're good. You have a couple of days. So I was like, Coach, he's like, it'll be fun, right? So I was like, okay. So my mom takes me up there. I run. I break the indoor record in a 200 and come running down the stadium in her orange jacket was the track and field coach from Tennessee. And she didn't even bother to introduce herself. She's like, what school are you going to? And I was like, Tennessee. And she's like, for basketball? And her spirit dropped. And I was like, kinda. Because at that point, when I didn't hear from the coaches, I enrolled at the university myself, and I was accepted academically. I said I was getting on that team no matter what.
Wow.
See, I have a never give up kind of like craziness about me. Yeah. So when I didn't get a call, or I didn't get the letter, my mom was like, okay, no big deal. And I'm like, yeah, let's go get there. I said I was
You wanted
to
go regardless.
Oh, absolutely. I wanted to go to Tennessee until I was 10 years old. At 10.
What amazes me is all the rumors and the stories of college athletics, and they're doing all this, and here's this top athlete that's basically waiting for someone to just spend some time, and that would be interesting to figure out why they. But thankfully, she came running out of the stands.
She did.
And you're not alone in your naivety, and that's because a lot of people think they know what to do.
Yeah,
my dad paid for the dinner when the Colorado State coach came, and Coach Al Sandall said, my dad's name is Jim. He says, Jim, I've been coaching for decades. No one has ever taken me out to dinner.
Oh, wow.
Ever. And my dad, I just thought we'd take you out.
Yeah.
Because they write everything off, right?
Yeah.
It's all free to the coaches and everything like that. But we didn't know any better. My dad certainly didn't understand the process. Neither did you or your parents.
No.
It was hard.
Yeah.
And if somebody would explain, would you please call Pat Summitt back? She might pay for your school.
Yeah, exactly.
But she's Pat Summitt.
Yeah.
She doesn't reach out to people.
No.
Dion doesn't reach out to most of the recruits.
Right.
Maybe
No,
a couple. You get to go through the assistant and the other assistant coaches and some other people, recruiters, before you have to get
Before
through
you
to
get
the
there.
top.
Absolutely.
Especially with her.
Absolutely. Especially with her.
Now, was it the head coach, the track coach that
Yes,
saw you?
it was. That was Myrtle Ferguson, and she ran flying down those stairs. And
you're coming with me.
What was her
Pretty
time?
much.
What was her time down the stairs? Was it pretty good?
I think I clocked her at a good 0.5 down those
Well,
stairs.
gravity is 32 feet per second, so she was
She
probably
was
going
faster
that
than a
fast.
100-meter sprinter.
I like that.
No, at that point, I literally made a deal with this lady. She's like, you're going to Tennessee for basketball? I was like, yeah, kind of. And she was like, tell me about it. So I told her, my dream is to play basketball for Tennessee since I was 10 years old, and that's why I'm going. And she's like, I'll make you a deal. You come run for me for 1 year, freshman year. I will personally introduce you to Pat Summitt, and you can have your chance to, negotiate your way through that door if you can. And I was like, how much you say you're paying? She said, got a scholarship.
Yeah.
I
Your
said,
out-of-state tuition would
Deal.
be, yeah.
ma'am, where's your hand
Where's
so I
your
can
hand?
shake
Yeah.
it?
Yeah. Where do I sign?
Where's the pen?
So I made that deal with her, and she stuck true to her word. She introduced me to Pat Summitt. I got to literally meet my idol, and when I met her, I love this part of my story. It's one of my emotional moments. I had an opportunity to set up a personal meeting with Pat Summitt. At this point, I've idolized her since I was 10. I walk to her office, and when I get there, there is a huge poster of me running track as SEC Athlete of the Week right in front of her door. And I was like, she has to know me. She can't come out of her office and not see my face.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, that's going to give me a little bit of, that gave me some confidence walking in there.
Wow.
So I walk in there and I sit down and I say, Coach, you sent me this letter. And
Did you have it?
I did. I had everything.
You went back to the shoebox?
The shoebox never left me. So I'm like, you sent me this letter, and I didn't know what to do with it. No one in my family has ever, gone this route before. My school never, didn't know what to do with an athlete like me, a female athlete. Like they had guys that were going to, college, but none of the girls. So they didn't really know what to do. And I fell through the cracks, but I promise you I'll be one of the best players that you ever have that didn't get a chance to play for you. If you give me a shot, I promise you won't regret it. And so I told her I'll be the fastest thing on the court she's ever seen. You'll never see anything faster on the court. Defensively, I cannot be matched. And that, she tilted her head like,
yeah, you're saying all the right words.
And she was like, well, I don't need to hold tryouts. I said, Coach, no disrespect. You're the greatest coach in the world. At that time, she had greatest
Absolutely.
coach in the world status.
Oh,
right?
absolutely.
And I said, I know you don't need to, you got a line of people trying to get through the door.
Hundreds.
But give me a shot. She's like, okay, I'll hold a tryout for you in the fall, but I can't hold it just for you. I have to open it up to the university, but I'll do that. I said, amen, thank you, Jesus. I ran out of there. I mean, my whole my chest cavity was filled. I mean, I could not imagine a more exciting moment for me. And you say, did you play for Tennessee? That's always the big question. No, I didn't. I had a very crazy collapse. The coach that made that deal with me, she had to resign my freshman year. So before I get to the end of my freshman year, she resigns. The new coaches came in, and I love them now, but I did not like them then. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. They were not my best friends then, but they are my best friends now. And they gave me an ultimatum, basically. They said if I even go to the basketball tryout, I would lose my scholarship.
You either run or you're done.
Yep.
Run only.
Yep, they didn't want to.
But you were a Bo Jackson or a Dion, right?
You give me Dion status. Yeah, I'll take Dion status.
Sport?
Yeah. And I was about that life. And I had been training all summer because I wasn't a track kid. I was a basketball kid who could run.
Right. Yeah.
And so I went home. I didn't run summer track. I didn't know anything about summer track. I'm like, what is this?
You just played basketball and you broke a record without training.
Yeah, exactly. Right? I know. No, exactly. So I go back home for the summer. I didn't go to summer track. I'm playing basketball. I'm trying to get my game back up. I haven't played for a year, so that wasn't normal. So I'm like, I'm going to be ready for this tryout. And they're like, if you even go to that tryout, your scholarship. You have to have permission from the smaller sport to play the larger sport if you're using your scholarship from the smaller sport. So, yeah, I had to make a decision pretty quick, and then the dollar signs added up, and I had less than a week to formulate a way to pay for college. And I called Pat Summitt, I did, and she said, right now they didn't have any scholarships available. The most she'd be able to do is like 40% in the spring.
Or
if I made
walk
the team.
on.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Everyone.
40% in the spring. Yep. So that's how we got down to track. That's how I ended up, track and field. But I always say God has a way of guiding you where he needs you to be or where he wants you to be. So
because even though you didn't like those coaches, that did start you on the path of becoming an Olympic athlete.
It kind of worked out.
Yeah, it did. It really worked out, I would say.
And you still got your jumper.
I did.
You still can play.
I still got a little. I mean, my kneecaps. Well, I don't know. I'm on borrowed kneecap time.
Set up in the corner. Set up in the corner.
Yeah, let me post up. I got an offer to play in a celebrity basketball game. I was like,
was there a time where you were rounding the track there at Tennessee near Neyland Field where you had just finished, you're breathing heavy, and you go, I think I'm fast enough to make it at the next level? When did that occur? That
was a natural transition for me. I didn't actually get a chance to think it before it happened. So because I wasn't really focused on track and field, I didn't have the goals set for it. So I wasn't thinking, I want to be an Olympic gold medalist. I'm just getting over the heartbreak of not being able to pursue basketball as far as I wanted to. So I said, okay, I'm just running. And you guys said I got to run, I'm going to run. So I started running, and then next thing you know, it's like, you're SEC champion. All right, thanks. You're NCAA runner-up. Okay, great, I'll get it next year. My success individually in every time I performed is what catapulted me to the Olympic level. So one race, you win the NCAA title, you're more than likely going to make the team in the Olympic trials if you can stay consistent.
You're at least invited to the Olympic trials.
Yes, you are. So
you ran in Oregon, didn't you?
I did.
Oh man,
I did.
Was that like a dream come true also?
No, I didn't know what Hayward Field was until I got there.
She was a basketball girl who also just ran track.
But my first Olympic team in 2004, the trials were in Sacramento. They weren't actually in Eugene.
Okay.
Eugene became like the mega house of track and field, I think maybe by 2008. Yes. By 2008, we were there.
Well, Harper, I have horrible news.
What?
We have to let DeeDee go.
Oh, my God. I just got here.
Well, here's what you've done, DeeDee. You've done a fantastic job because we're going to let you remind everybody that along with being an amazing athlete, they can use Taste of Gold Bakery. But what I've done is I've created a tease because we haven't even gotten to the Olympic stories.
Oh, my goodness.
Which is things you can do as a keynote speaker.
Oh, yes, absolutely.
Yeah, so you came here to talk about Taste of Gold Bakery, but you are also available to speak at corporate events. You're also available to speak about items of faith and about athleticism and about the
Yes.
lessons you've learned and all that kind of stuff. And you've given us just a taste of it. And I don't know if this is the worst decision I've ever made or the best one, but I think I may have gotten you a gig or two because people are like, you're cutting her off before she gets to the Olympic stories. Well, I just got to bring her in and have her talk about that stuff. So I think that, or we need to, what we'll do is when we bring you back on to talk about this new technology and you bring the other technology of edible sheets of paper that taste wonderful, we'll talk about the Olympic stuff. Is that fair?
Absolutely.
Is that
And
reasonable?
I'm hoping everyone's watching the Olympics this year.
Absolutely.
It's going to be one of our best. I definitely feel it in my bones.
It's a great location. There's a lot of stuff coming out of the trials. It's exciting to watch. So, DeeDee, remind everybody you are the executive pastry chef and the owner. If they want to engage with Taste of Gold Bakery for a cake, a special occasion, a dessert table for an event, tell everybody where to go and what to do.
Please go to tasteofgoldbakery.com and you can either call or email us and we will customize your event. So don't be discouraged that you can't click and order. I know that's a thing now. You just want to click and order, but we can't customize it if it's click and order. So we will call and
Gotta talk
customize
to you
with
first.
you. Yes,
We
let's
wanna
talk
visit
with
with
you.
you.
Yeah, take it old school, y'all.
Yeah, and take advantage of your wealth of knowledge and all the skill you put into it and your team. So you know this isn't going to be a pickup at the store. You really want to get the most out of what you're going to get at Taste of Gold Bakery and take advantage of your team, like you said, your sous chef. We didn't even get to talk about your
Jessica,
sous.
oh my gosh, my
Give
sous
her a
chef
shout out,
Jessica
yeah.
is amazing. She is my right hand and sometimes my left. And yes, together we make beautiful food art that not just looks beautiful. Again, it tastes good, you guys.
And if you're looking for a keynote speaker for an event, DeeDee is available. So that'll be good.
I get your crowd hype. The last thing you're going to see is me standing at the podium. So go get your wireless mics prepared because I'm going to be moving around, energizing the crowd, keeping them hype, and inspiring them to reach their greatness.
Yep, I've seen some of your work, and absolutely, you're good at what you do. You're articulate.
you.
She is lovely and talented both, and she has a food edible processing machine, a printer.
And she'll be.
I don't have one of
EFP,
those.
you guys.
And you can line up the
edibles.
whole audience on one end of the room, and DeeDee will beat them in a race to the other end of the room, like her
Absolutely.
grandfather used
Yes.
to get enjoy so
And
much.
you can even train with an Olympian. If you're looking to do fitness, I after our session, you can set up with me and I will work your group out to get some,
We're going to burn the calories that we just consumed.
Exactly. I can do that too. It's called Train with an Olympian. It's quite fun.
I love it, man. There's so much going on. DeeDee, thank you so much. And one more time, the website.
Tasteofgoldbakery.com.
like
Greatness has a taste.
Greatness has a taste, and Greatness was in this studio with us. So thank you so much for being here.
Thank you, guys.
Well, Stephen, you love food, don't you?
Oh, what else do we love?
We love our sponsor here at Gas South District, Subaru. Love is what makes a Subaru a Subaru. I'm going to finally get there.
You're
How about
pivoting.
that?
You're pivoting.
I was. Well,
We were in the presence of a gold medalist, so I get it.
But we also love food.
We do, and we can't get off that
Period.
subject.
Stop.
Period. Full
Hard
stop.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So you can enjoy big savings and a hassle-free experience at Subaru of Gwinnett, where people sell cars. You can visit SubaruofGwinnett.com. You can join their family today. You can come on in and see the difference. They're at 2950 Satellite Boulevard in Duluth. They're 2 blocks more north of the mall right there. 470-824-3860 is the sales number. You can get a new or previously enjoyed Subaru there at Subaru of Gwinnett.
You know what else we love?
Food.
Yeah, you know what else?
I'm still squirrel.
We're still
I'm
at full
still
stop
squirrel,
of that.
yeah.
We also love business. We also love money, and we all
The
know
business of food. Period.
Period.
Hard stop.
But we all know that keeping your company's financial future on track means having the right resources to support your growth. Regions Commercial Banking offers you lending capabilities and food and strategic solutions tailored to your needs. And you'll work with a team of experienced bankers here in Gwinnett. Maybe they'll take you out to lunch. Discover steps to take that can help move you closer to your business goals and to your dessert goals. Regions is here to help. To learn more, visit regions.com/commercial-banking. Don't forget the dash of cinnamon. Regions Bank.
Member.
FDIC. By the way,
I want to go to imhungry.com.
yeah,
Have you
exactly.
been
No,
there
I'm going to go to
today?
tasteofgoldbakery.com because when she was talking about the specializing, all I could think of is I love honey buns and I loved iced honey buns, but they're always prepackaged and full of preservatives. I would love that would be the dessert table. I think I would do is some
But when
kind
she
of
mentioned Switzerland, I'm thinking strudel.
strudel. Yeah. Oh man, I just a homemade, perfect ingredient iced honey bun dessert table, and I wouldn't even need to have an event because I think I would
Warm
eat all
enough
of
to
them.
where the icing is
Oh
just
no!
dripping
Come
off and it
on!
gets all over your fingers.
Yes, topped with edible food paper. So
Just enough
All right.
s-
So
edible-
for our
just
guest
edible
DeeDee
food
Trotter,
paper.
who we have broken down into a laughing fit, and for Dan, the producer, who put on the
His
voice that I guessed
ridiculous.
wrong, and for
Yeah.
Harper, we'll let you know when the betting app comes along. We will catch you next time. And Mike didn't. He did come out, but yeah, we're gonna get Mike on the air one day. All right, there's the music. We got to go. We love you guys. Thank you for listening. We will catch you next time on Gwinnett Business Radio.